gonna kill every last one of you.
Crucial 13, you all appreciate it. Shout out to you.
Get crucial.
I'm hungry. I need some bacon.
Look at this. Look at it. This is the city I'm in right now.
Alright, what up? I'm about to break this all the way down, so hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and share the video. Now, the simpleton might have watched this movie and they thought, oh yeah, they showing that white people is the devil and all this. Yeah, get that out your mind right now. This movie goes way deeper than what this divided country has taught us to believe, right? So let's just start at the music, okay? Let's start at the music and frequency and vibration. So throughout the movie, they will tell you that music is the gateway to the soul, or it's able to tap into different dimensions. Now this is where we go into frequency. We go into low frequency, high frequency. A lot of the music you guys listen to is very low frequency. That's why all you do is shoot at each other, you twerk all day, and you like to drink and smoke. Now I come from that way of being in that culture, you know, where all that stuff is acceptable and cool, so there's no judgment here. But a lot of that music is helping lower your guys' frequency of all colors, okay? You even see the white people running around here doing all that shit, okay? And now on this channel, I break down how these demons, these energy vampires, are on a never-ending hunt for the soul. You know, it's food to them. They love the soul. Now, one of the main characters of the movie is this kid, Sammy. He's the musical talent, the musical genius. He's like, the figure for somebody with that's in tune with their soul. That's, he's high vibrational. Let's just put it like that. And the vampire tells him, your gifts, bring people to me, which is, it shows how a lot of these record execs, and they like to, look for the best musical artists, like the Michael Jacksons, like, all these type of people that have that light in them that are able to bring flocks of listeners and all this stuff to these, radio stations or whatever, where they put the low vibration in the music to help dumb down these people so they can become a feeding farm for these demons, okay? Now, onto another subject about this movie, where they had the Ku Klux Klan in the movie, right? So a lot of people, new age people who are under a new, Marxist kind of ideology, leftist ideology, would say, yeah, that's because, white people are bad and all this other type of stuff. But what you don't really know, or what you aren't taught, is that, that was a democratic thing back in them days that they're talking about, where they were the KKK. And, in the movie, I found it so funny that the lady vampire was like, well, we started a new clan based on love. Just like the clan just, started, migrating into society and started to, integrate themselves with newer ideologies so they can hide among their prey, And we're going to show you some clips from my guy, the 13th Son, talking about back in them days when the vampires was actually more out in the open, and they were running along them types of groups. And if you don't think this new group, this new terrible group or whatever is, based on love right now, just look at how they did society. Everything bad now is good. You're taught to not shame certain things that are actually pretty, go against a lot of your morals, and it does, okay? I can't go deep into all that type of stuff, but a lot of the wokeism, a lot of the other stuff, they're putting a lot of shameful things, in your face and telling you can't say nothing about it. It's all about love. You gotta love everything, right? You gotta love everything. Who is pushing that the most? Because I know it ain't the Donald Trump people and all that stuff. I know it ain't them. Who is pushing it? Who is pushing this leftist woke shit? Oh, you guys know who that is, right? So when you go back and look at the KKK and all that stuff, when they were actually started by the Democrats, doesn't it make sense that they would say, okay, we got to figure out a way to reinvent ourselves so we don't get burnt by the light anymore. We gotta hide amongst the shadows. We gotta change our image a little bit, right? Here, let's just start appropriating everything. Love, 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 right? Love everything. Who does that, huh? Okay, not gonna go too deep into that. And now real quick before we get to this 13th son, you know, I talk about how the Nicaea Council and King James and all them, you know, they got a hold of the Bible, and every time they get a hold of it, every day there's a new version of it. They added some new verse in there that contradicts the previous verse, or, you know, they do stuff like this, right? And this is to all my righteous people that understand right from wrong because they have a moral compass and discernment and is able to see through these things, right? So I found it funny in the movie that when Sammy, the main character, the soul being, the high vibrational one, was saying a Bible verse to this vampire to keep him off of him, and the vampire just started saying it along with him. He's like, dude, I made this up. Just so you know, we got a hold of this. That's our shit. I was like, oh my God, am I right or am I right? He started mocking him like, dude, we're the ones who taught you guys that you got dominion over animals and all this, which I make videos about, that they love when you eat blood foods and all this type of stuff because it attracts them. They love blood. Okay? And I do subscribe to the word of Christ. I just know how to discern what was added in and what wasn't. I know etymology as well. Some of these words nowadays that you guys use, they added new definitions to it. Why do you think the words got 50,000 definitions? Because whoever gets that book can tell you what this means. It's called a misinterpretation or a perversion of it, okay? Do the etymology. You're going to be so tripped out that the word black actually means pale. The word white means sovereign, and, you know, all this type of stuff. You're going to figure out what black and white really means. And, you know, going into the whole sovereign thing as well, we're going to get into that with the 13th son in a second. You know, that a lot of this black and white stuff, you know, that they got to make the movie based on that, you know, because a lot of y'all are under that spell still. So they're still pushing that in this country, you know, black versus white and all that stuff. But they're coming down to the truth where they're going to start exposing that black people weren't all dark-skinned people. A lot of them were actually white-skinned people and European people. It's just the status that you're under in a country, which means you got that energy vampire in you. You can't be harmonious among the creation, so you got to get locked the fuck up. Okay, that's why a lot of people who got the black status are under this spell where, you know, they're living in the hood right now. They're gang banging. They're low vibrational, right? That's because you were lowered down by, and a lot of it was by design. The same people who appropriate all this shit and tell you you're fine just the way you are, they're pumping the music to you that's telling you to kill each other and all that type of stuff. Yeah, a lot of that had to do with it. So you look at why you're under the black status and a lot of the so-called white-skinned people are under the white status, which means sovereign. Okay, we going back into the Moors and all this type of stuff. But let's go into this 13th son video real quick because I just cooked.
And your history, what they tell you, they're never going to tell you the truth about everything, right? So they give you little hints and things like that. They're not going to come out and tell you, there's demons out here, there are vampires out here. They're not going to tell you this stuff, right? But in actual reality, we know they are demons, something that's against man or humanity. So that's where that D comes from, demon. But these demons are vampires, or vampires are bloodsuckers who love the cold, who love blood foods, who need souls to survive still. Vampire goes all the way back to Dracula, Dracon, Draco, and we're dealing with these dragon courts out here under the Vatican. Bloodsuckers, nothing but blood. That's all they want to do is go around and just tearing up stuff, bringing blood. See, when the Moors fell, 1491 November 25th or something like that, you know, people come over here to this land, and it was the free Moor land. That's what the last free Moors over here. We as in immortal ones, we knew who we've been battling a long time on the planet. We know there's different beings here whose soul is beings, and they have been calcified all the way. These are the vampires. We call them vampires, bloodsuckers, draconians. So these draconians was over here. Well, they came out of Europe area when they found out what was over here, 1492, and they started coming over here and said, oh, they're the children over there now. That's what the Jesuits stand for, Jesuit European warlocks, sorcery, Jews.
Now again, this doesn't mean white skin, light skin, black skinned, or whatever. Because there is so-called black Europeans, there is so-called white Africans, there is so-called all that type of stuff, right? Now yes, maybe a long time ago, during the fall of man, I'm talking about that long ago, the skin tone started getting, devoid of the melanin on the outside because of the vampire on the planet. Right? So this is where people get this white man is the devil and black man is God, all that type of stuff. But we all have melanin on the inside. So that isn't indicative that you're just the devil. Everybody is poisoned right now. Nobody is exempt from this poisoning. That's why the so-called black people have the worst neighborhoods in the world right now. You go there, there's nothing but demonic activity. But then you go to so-called white people's neighborhoods, they're all nice and all that other type of stuff, right? They're non-confrontational. It's, because they got the morals inside of them. And this doesn't mean everybody. This is just what they portray in America. So when the beast came to America, they enslaved the so-called dark-skinned people and put them under that status for the most part. And then they stopped telling you about Moors and who you actually were and stuff and what black and white actually means. This is why to even get a hold of a Black's Law dictionary, you gotta go through hell to find one, and then you gotta pay like hell to get it. This beast, this demon, this vampire, okay, this draconian being does not want you to find out who you are, and he doesn't want you to know that this color is bullshit. Okay, white, black, and everybody else, they divided us. So keep that in mind. So if you're a white person watching this, a black person watching this, don't think that you're canceled out or X'd out just because of what this beast in this country blasts to you on his low vibrational TV stations and radio stations. Remember, all this stuff was taught to you from the radio station, from the TV. Okay? Before a certain time in this country, you weren't black. You never identified as that, and Noble Drew Ali also was telling you that you weren't that. But they erased him out of history somehow, and nobody even knows who that is.
It's a lot of stories about these vampires. Even you find some old slave people books and stuff they wrote, they'll tell you about these vampires, these demons. That's why so many was escaping down south, trying to come up north because the vampires on the plantation. Only demons, vampires ran the plantations. Ain't no real human gonna slave people like that.
Now, what he just said, ain't no real humans gonna treat other people like that, right? We ain't talking about the Moors that had to enslave a lot of Europeans who were out of alignment with nature, and they was eating every animal up, and they was eating humans and all, because they were psychotic. They had to be thrown in chains and shit. This is why the Moors first started that type of stuff, but it got out of hand. They started infecting them, and then they started abusing people, and then we got this going on, But what he said about that, the slave owners and all that other type of stuff, a lot of them, under that rulership that we ain't gonna talk too much about, the leftism, whatever, we're energy vampires, we're demons, we're vampires, right? Now you go and look at which political party is pushing the most nonsense. Who is pushing the most when I say nonsense, I'm not talking to people that think you got to just love everybody like the KKK woman in the video in this movie was saying. Oh, we're just gonna start a new clan about love. No, we talking about people who understand what nonsense is, right? Where you got people going in the bathrooms with the kids and all. We ain't gonna go too deep into that. But who is pushing that nonsense the most, right? Now you could figure out more. Okay. Now I can see the mindset of the people that ran these plantations mostly. It can't be a person with a soul and a conscience doing that type of stuff, right? So if you got a soul and a conscience, are you gonna are you gonna let a lot of this nonsense go on that's going on in the country before, you know, the last administration or whatever like that? Because I ain't gonna lie, it was getting pretty bad what they were doing, right? So it's that type of mindset, a psychotic person treating humans like absolute shit, right? Only this time that clan figured out a way to move through the shadows and come in the name of love now. That's why you gotta love everything. That's why the vibrational chart is flipped upside down. If you look at that, man, I can't even go deep into this type of stuff. That's just how much control these fools got. But if you look at that chart where you got the enlightenment at the top and then you got shame and guilt and all that at the bottom, they flipped that to where the stuff that you usually would have shame and guilt, they put that in the enlightenment seat. So they reversed it. Who is pushing that? Which party was pushing that, huh? Everybody, tell me.
There was vampires, and it was sucking the blood out of them the melanated rich people out there. And just serious talk. Right thing, they was all trying to run away. Some didn't even know they were slaves. They thought they were the master feeding us, but they having slave slaughters, sucking blood.
Now, like he just said right there, they was going for the melanin rich people. So that means so-called black, right? Which one of them is targeting so-called black people so much? And then some people might say, well, no, they just be defending black people because, you know, the racism and all that. Yeah, I get it. You've been lied to, just so you know. But I would agree with that if when they defend them, they don't appropriate their ghetto behavior or appropriate their lawlessness and give them excuses for it. If they would actually approach it like rehabilitation and stuff like that and teaching them how to be, you know, moral and stuff like that, you know, like the conservative would do, you know, they actually respect more people like that, except the people that actually do become moral, they get labeled Uncle Toms by you guys and all that type of stuff. See, if that party wasn't attacking the people that actually got right in their head and started cleaning themselves up, I could go with that. But the fact that they're targeted and also kept in their lower nature at the same time, because we all know frequency and vibration, you in your lower nature, you're a feeding ground for all type of energy vampires. So the fact they want to keep you in that vibration, let you know, dude, is this coming together for anybody who's been watching this? If it has, just give me a round of applause, okay? How many channels do you know can break down the whole conspiratorial aspect, the spiritual aspect, and the psychological aspect of it all? Look at how, and the conditional aspect, how they condition people and stuff like that. Is this making any sense?
And that's why we were so scared and got into that church Bible thing, and they didn't know they were sucking the blood out of us because Jesus Christ was the first one of the original Adam vampires. Rose from the dead vampire. We not talking about Yahshua. As in Moors, if you go look at any historical pictures, a lot of Moors don't know this. You go look at any historical pictures, goes all the way back to Sambo, samurai warriors, and Nagars, all that throughout China, Japan. We was masters of that silver sword because we had silver swords. We always had swords with us. Go look at any historical items and stuff. Why do we have these swords and machetes? And Jamaicans, everybody still got a machete. It's in our bloodline to have these machetes, but we have silver ones because the silver kills them vampires and them devils and demons. I know you're Malik, man. He tripping. He's our vampires. Okay, you got vampires of consciousness that creeps in until you try to suck your energy out of you. You wonder why you gotta try to get that monkey off your back. You're running track. He moving fast. And all this vampire vampires are sucking your life force out. That's why they want you to be fans in sporting games, fanatics, or they addicts sucking you dry like an addict. And you don't even know it. You don't know what this. Go look at the word this sport. Because you're so attracted to these sports out here, you don't understand that you got vampires of consciousness sucking all your energy out. They feeding on you on a whole nother level. But then you also got these lower ones that come down in the physical form and walk around us and suck on blood.
And the ones that's in the physical doing this, you know, that it's becoming common, to be honest. These things are getting so much control of people. You got cannibals, you got like Jeffrey Dahmer type people, but then you got these this is just rumor. I don't know if none of this is true, but there's like elitist or certain groups of people that do this type of ritual thing where they sacrifice whatever. But we don't know if that's true or not. But I'm just saying, like, there's been stuff. The FBI's got footage of satanic rituals and all the other type of stuff. So, you know, these are all energy vampires manifesting on this planet. Okay, and then we talk about the disport where it's literally to rock you to sleep while something serious is happening. Something you should be actually concerned about. They want to take your mind off of it so you don't see them creeping up.
Do you know how many children come up missing, they sucking on blood? See, the Civil War and stuff, they didn't want to let go of them slaves because it's free food. Real talk. They was eating people, sucking people up. Where do you think the word barbecue come from? Roasting. They started roasting the blood. Oh, we can roast them too. Drink the blood and roast them too. And a lot of other Europeans came, they didn't even know what was going on. See, they didn't just eat. They weren't going crazy eating everybody, but it was a thing. That's why the North and South, they went to war because, like, you're not gonna get out of our church and we'll go crazy around the world if you try to take all your our food away. It's all about food, blood. They on the banks, they on sporting teams, they in your Congress, all the military industries, Monsanto, blood suckers. Now we at this age today, well, they don't have to come suck the blood like they normally do. You give it to them freely. That's why you're gonna perish and your soul gonna stay here, because you don't supposed to let your blood go. So you go to these blood banks and donate blood. Here's the Mr. Vampires. You're giving up free blood. They trick you to say there's some kind of disease on the planet and you go get blood tests. Boy, you know how much blood they've been taking? Here's the thing. They starting to show themselves now. They shapeshifters. See, that's why these people, all these so-called reptilians are, and these things got them vampire, demon, insect, toward. You got so many different ones on the planet that they working with. But these soulless beings, they trying their best to get these souls. They know that you're a lost children out here. You don't forget who you is in your DNA. So they lied and trick you just to get your blood. And you give it up. I'm going to have a blood work. I'm going to get a blood test. I'm going to get an HIV test. Free blood. You don't supposed to let your blood go out your body. That blood is sacred. And you give your blood up. Now they're at the point where you so unconscious, you do everything they say, so they put you in a hypnotic state with the TV. So the TV, that's why they got these plasma TVs with blood. Got these plasma TVs, and the TV puts you to sleep. It knocks you out. You think you're watching TV, you don't know you be so tired and so drained. When you eat animal foods, whenever you used to get so tired and drained, and people call it the itis. You eat the food with your itis. It ain't itis. Ain't them vampires sucking the shit out of you. Because you wonder, like, I get so tired of sleeping. Because you just fed, and they feeding off your consciousness. Vampires. Why you think they don't promote healthy food like fruits and veggies and stuff? See, because when you eat fruits and veggies, you're eating from the land, which is green food, plant-based food, which has nothing but sun nutrients inside it. Electrified food.
And this, I know I got a lot of followers that, may not, take to this type of information, but we're trying to tell y'all, you're inviting things in your body when you go this route of eating animals or doing this type of stuff. I don't not do that just because of whatever, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want energy demons in my damn body. I don't want to get drained by energy vampires and shit like that, dude. And I'm one with the creators, so I'm one with the creations, man. I don't play them type of games, dude. I'm really hip to this information right now. I'm really a demon slayer. I'm a vampire slayer. How do I slay vampires? I stop putting them in my temple. That's it. That's all you gotta do is clean up, raise your frequency and vibration. So your soul is too powerful for them to even get near. They want to dumb you down so they can grab that shit. They know that, all they got to do is teach you, how to get away from who you truly are, which is an energetic soul being. Okay, when they can dim your light, that's when they can come right through. But what the movie was telling you is that sunlight, and every vampire movie tells you that sunlight, when that shit's out, oh, they're done. So what you got to do is learn what foods actually help your sun burn these things out. Your sun is your soul.
So when you eat that electric food, it's enlightening your body. So your body, your sun inside your body gets strong and a big glow come around your body. So the energy field come around you, which is the light inside of you, kills off the vampires. They can't take it. They can't ignore it. They blind off with your light. That's what a light being is. When you become that light being, you get that light around your glow come around you, that energy field come around you. That's what plant electric foods does this to your body. But you eating meats and stuff, it calcifies you when your light goes out. You eat all this bad stuff, doing all this bad stuff, your light goes out. So then the vampire can come behind you and start sucking you. Some is physical, some mentally, and some spiritual. It's a big war going on right now. But you know there's demons on the planet, something that's against humanity. You never see nobody do the stuff they doing out here. These demons, they don't give a goddamn. Shoot, especially, I ain't gonna talk about the so-called Christian ones. Y'all the ones that I'm getting harvested. Y'all been getting prepared and getting just right, colded up, doing everything they say do to get you just right.
Now 13, I've been warning them, okay? All the morals, all the good stuff about that book, yes, great and excellent. But I've been telling them that book has been confiscated. That's why it's available everywhere. But if you tell the truth on the internet, you get deleted. So why are they letting that shit go everywhere? Because that book has been turned into an energy vampire's manual on how to survive a high vibrational energy planet that is designed systematically to destroy them. So they tell us how to do everything to keep our vibe. I talked to a New Age Christian the other day, and yes, New Age, okay? You guys are New Age. I talked to one the other day, he told me frequency and vibration ain't even in the Bible, so I'm full of shit, he says. I said, oh yeah, oh, I know why they told you not to believe in that, because they need yours low. It is what it is, bro. And they so under the spell that when I tell them something like this, or I don't even tell them, I just make videos for people that the videos are supposed to reach, and then they come out of nowhere trying to block everybody and shit like haters and demons. But they'll tell me to refute what I'm saying with something from that book that was actually revised. That I just told them was happening. I just told you that didn't nobody approve of King James or Nicaea Council or whoever else came around to change around that book. And you wonder why all this evil stuff is in it, and then they just say, oh, we allowed to do this because we in our fallen state. Dude, how much of a perverted spell are you under that to contradict what I'm saying or to refute what I'm saying, you're going to bring up something I just said was perverted? No, but man, it's that one verse that says we shall be able to eat. I just told you who the fuck put that in there. What the fuck? You gonna bring it up to me again? What the hell, dog? Damn. And they so calcified that you could tell them right now, you could have them admit that something ain't righteous, but because it's in there, they have to go along with it. But you and your soul, the soul that God gave you, you are the book, know that it wasn't righteous. But you're still like, no, it's up in here though. That's why they changed it, because they know y'all is you need somebody to tell you what to believe. So that's why you gotta keep referring to that, even though you will tell me you know deep down that shit ain't righteous. Because it's in there, you gotta do.
They gonna get your ass. Soul food. Where do you think the South come up with soul food from? You thought it was cornbread, chicken, and collard greens. Soul food was the soul beings that was slaves. They was the beast was eating the soul food, because you was food for his soul to give him a soul. You're the soul food. But you thought soul food was something you ate. No.
Man, 13, soul food is chicken and collard greens, cuz I don't want to die. Your ass is dead. Alright, let me chill out. I'm trying to make light of some of this, so some of y'all can laugh it off and say, damn, you know what, you right. We about to really start looking into what this stuff do. We had no idea that there were demons on the planet. We thought it was just some cool thing that we read in a book. Everybody always think that this shit is just play. You know what I mean? Like somebody could read the Bible and say, yeah, demons exist and all that. They don't know that it's right inside of them though. That it's right in the room with you. Sitting right there, waiting for you to slip, tempting you. You guys are taught that your temptations, we fall short. Dude, that is a demon tempting you into doing something. And you're so calcified, you just think it's a cool word to say. Even spiritual people, And we're not talking about the spiritual I am. We talking about these oneness spiritual people that think that demons is just a cool word for people's negative behavior. Oh yeah, that's energy vampire is just a person who is low vibrational and all this type of stuff. Well, yeah, it is, but you know what low vibrational is? Low vibrational is these demons. Okay, this is where they operate at. No, don't put this on human beings. Y'all better wake up, everybody. You religious people, you spiritual people, and everybody else in between. Wake up, okay? Now, hopefully this video taught you a few things, okay? I'm not one-dimensional, I'm interdimensional. You got that? Vampire Slayer, Crucial 13, okay? Now, everybody, do the best that you can do to start cleansing up and walking that narrow path, because this planet is about to go through a big cleanse, because God ain't about to play with these demons right now. It's about that time. It's getting crazy, as you can see. The planet is going through something really fucked up right now with these things running rampant around here, okay? Now they're about to get destroyed. You can either save yourself, get up out of this thing, start cleansing up, and start walking that narrow path so you can meet everybody else on the other side that's doing the same thing, or you can stay in this shit, get harvested, and then everything else is about to get cleansed up and you'll just be an afterthought. You'll never be known again. Huh? Is that what you want? And if you do, yeah, some of y'all do. Well, whatever. Okay? Remember, this Vampire Slayer, okay? Now, what you need to do, slay your vampires in your life. And please, let me know what y'all think of in the comments. This, again, Vampire Slayer, Crucial 13. I ain't woke, I'm up. Peace, love, 13.
Crucial 13, you are appreciated. Shout out to you.
Get crucial. I'm hungry. I need some bacon.
Look at this. Look at it. This is the city I'm in right now.